Oba Femi vs. Brock Lesnar. Live TV showdown erupts. Brock Lesnar confronted. Oba Femi breaks silence. Italy clash heats up. So let me ask you two things real quick. When was the last time someone actually looked Brock Lesnar in the eye on live TV and didn't flinch? And more importantly, what happens when the one guy who doesn't blink first finally decides he's had enough of being quiet? Because that's exactly what just happened with Oba Femi. And honestly, the way it went down didn't feel like one of those scripted "we'll settle this at the next premium live event" moments. No. This felt different. It felt like something was already boiling behind the scenes, and somebody just opened the pressure valve in front of the entire world. Live TV. Bright lights. Cameras rolling like nothing unusual is about to happen. You know that calm before the storm feeling? Yeah, it was that, except nobody said it out loud. And then Oba Femi walks out. No long entrance gimmick. No dramatic pause like he's waiting for a movie soundtrack to kick in. Just straight presence. The kind of presence that makes you stop talking mid-sentence even if you're watching with friends and pretending you're not impressed. And you can already feel it, something's off. Because Brock Lesnar isn't even in the ring yet. That's the first thing that makes it weird. Oba Femi stands there, looking around like he's not just waiting, he's calling someone out without saying a word. And if you've watched Brock long enough, you already know what that silence usually means. It means someone is either about to get destroyed, or someone just made a very expensive mistake. The camera lingers a little too long on Oba's face. Not fear. Not excitement. Something closer to focus, like he's replaying a conversation in his head that we didn't get to hear. And then he finally speaks, and this is where it shifts. He doesn't shout. That's the funny part. Everyone expects shouting in moments like this. But he doesn't give them that. He keeps it calm, controlled, almost like he's talking directly to Brock and not to the crowd. And what he says, yeah, it's the kind of thing that makes the arena noise drop a few levels. Because he's not talking about respect, he's not talking about opportunity, he's not even talking like someone trying to make a name. He's talking like someone who already believes he belongs at the top table and Brock Lesnar just happens to be sitting in his seat. Now at this point, fans in the arena are reacting the way fans always do. Half of them are like, "This guy is crazy," and the other half are slowly starting to lean forward like, "Wait, is he serious?" And you know what makes it worse? He is. Oba Femi says it plainly, no games, no metaphors. He's done waiting, done watching Brock Lesnar walk around like a final boss in someone else's story. And then he drops the line that changes the entire temperature of the segment because suddenly it's not just about confrontation anymore, it's about Italy. That upcoming clash in Italy isn't just a match anymore in his voice. It's not a big showdown or historic encounter like commentary would say it. No. In his words, it's something closer to a reckoning. Something that's been building long before cameras ever started rolling. And that's when people start asking the real question, why now? Why is Oba Femi stepping into Brock Lesnar's world like this? And more importantly, why does he sound like he's already accepted whatever comes after? Because here's the thing about Brock Lesnar that everyone knows but doesn't always say out loud: when Brock gets involved, it's not usually a debate. It's usually a warning. But Oba isn't backing up. And just when you think this is going to stay one-sided, like a strong promo segment where one guy dominates the mic and the other shows up later, the atmosphere changes. You know that feeling when the crowd suddenly reacts before anything even happens? Like they see something you don't yet? That's what happens. Brock Lesnar walks in. No music. No slow build. No dramatic spotlight. Just Brock being Brock. And honestly, that's always the scariest version of him because it feels unplanned even when it's not. He doesn't rush. He doesn't smile. He just steps into frame like the space belongs to him by default. And now it's face to face. Oba Femi doesn't move back, not even half a step, and you can almost hear the audience trying to decide how to feel about that. Because standing your ground against Brock Lesnar on live TV isn't brave in a normal way. It's either confidence or misunderstanding what kind of storm you're standing in front of. Brock looks at him for a second, that long quiet stare he does before everything gets messy, and you can tell he's measuring something. Not fear, not intimidation, more like curiosity. Like he's asking himself, who is this guy really? And Oba finally breaks the silence again. This is where things get interesting because he doesn't insult Brock. He doesn't play the disrespect card. Instead, he does something worse. He acknowledges him, but not as a threat, as a target. That's the part that hits differently. And you can feel the tension shift from promo segment to this might actually explode in a second. Fans online are already losing it because this isn't the usual formula. Usually someone calls Brock out, Brock laughs, maybe says 2 words, F5, end of story. But here, it's not happening that way. Because Oba keeps talking, and the more he talks, the more it feels like he's not trying to convince Brock of anything, he's trying to convince everyone else that Brock isn't untouchable. Now Brock finally speaks. And it's short, of course it is. Brock Lesnar doesn't waste energy. 1 line, maybe 2. But the tone is what matters. That calm voice that somehow feels louder than shouting. And what he basically makes clear is simple: you don't call him out and walk away the same person you were before. That's the warning underneath everything. And now we're stuck in that moment fans love and fear at the same time, where neither guy backs down and everyone watching starts mentally calculating how bad this could get. Because now Italy isn't just a match on a card. It's something that feels personal. And here's where things get layered. Oba Femi doesn't look like someone caught in the moment. He looks like someone who already decided this outcome a long time ago and is just finally standing in front of the person involved. That's dangerous in a different way because Brock Lesnar deals with chaos, he thrives in it, but certainty is different. Oba isn't reacting to Brock. He's waiting for him. And that's when the confrontation almost turns physical, not in a full brawl way, but in that slow tense movement where both men step just slightly closer, enough to make everyone in the arena go quiet. Security starts shifting in the background, not rushing, just positioning, because everyone knows how thin the line is. And yet nothing happens. No punch, no shove, no sudden F5. Just 2 men staring at each other like they're already imagining what Italy is going to look like when there's no cameras cutting away. And honestly, that might be worse than an actual fight right now because it leaves everyone hanging. The segment eventually breaks, but it doesn't matter anymore because the damage is already done in terms of anticipation. Now fans aren't just waiting for a match, they're waiting for a collision that feels emotionally loaded before it even starts. And let's be real, this is exactly the kind of moment that gets people arguing for days.